Hey, what's up? John Sonmez here, and I got a question. I've been doing a lot of men and women videos today, but hey, I guess that's just what it is, right? So I've been catching up on some comments, some stuff I had on my phone. I got a comment from James Tucker, and he said, that's what she wants in a man, a provider and a protector. Because I said that in the video, that's what women want, right? But my question is, what does she bring to the table? This is asked with good faith. This is a very valid question, and I do believe that James is asking this in good faith. And we need to ask these questions. Sometimes we have to ask hard questions because we can't just take things for face value, right? What is the value that the woman is providing? Whereas, a man is provider and protector, so what does the woman provide, okay? So there's various ways of looking at this, okay, and we can look at this at the microcosm, like a singular interaction, and we can look at this at the larger societal scope of where do women play into society and the role in a relationship with a man. Like, what is the value, right? The man's providing this kind of value. What kind of value is the woman provided? So let's look at the micro level at first, right? So at the micro level, we're just talking about attraction. Okay, we're just talking about, at a biological attraction level, sexual attraction for the reproduction of the species. What does the man provide? It's not what he's providing in that case, it's what he's signaling. And if he's signaling that he's a good provider and protector, okay, that's going to cause attraction to the woman because he has some value that, he could protect her offspring. I mean, we could talk about the biological, type of what do we call it? Evolutionary type of perspective of this whole thing, okay? But that's a good signal, okay? On the other hand, a woman, the value that she's providing is that there's a couple of things. One is that a guy is primarily saying, oh, well, this woman is attractive, okay? That's the value, immediate value that she's providing, right? And let's a lot of you are like, oh, well, that's not fucking fair. It's not fucking fair, but it's how biology works, right? The value for that the man is perceiving from the woman is that she's hot, right? That's the value that she's providing in that case, okay? It's also providing an ego boost for the man to say, oh, I'm a conqueror, I'm dominant, I'm able to acquire resources, I'm able to get women. So in the short term, those are kind of the things that are going on. So she's providing those things for a man, right? This is, if you think about your encounters, if you're a man, if you think about dealing with women, what do you want from them in the short term? You want the access to their hotness, okay? And you want the ego boost that comes from that, right? So sometimes it's better to have a hot girlfriend than it is to actually be with the hot girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? Just to have, this is why we have terms like trophy wife and whatnot, is because it's a status thing, right? It's like, oh, if you get this hot girl, you're pretty fucking awesome guy, right? You see what I'm saying? So there's some value there. And again, that's why I'm talking about the short term and the long term. So the short term for the woman is that it's more similar to the long term, right? The guy is capable of being a good provider and protector, and she's going to get some status from a high status male as well, right? So these are good things that are being provided. And on the female side, it's the access to the hotness, okay? It's the access, it's the social credibility of attracting an attractive woman who wants to be with you, right? So it's an ego boost, okay? Now, if we look at the longer term, which is, I think, more of the purpose of this question, which is, in a relationship, let's say, or in a longer term relationship, a man is being a provider and a protector, right? Biologically speaking. And now, we live in modern society today. Women can make their own money, right? They can get a gun and protect themselves, but we're still wired that way. And women want to know that they can be provided for and protected regardless of what they say, regardless of equality and women's rights and all that, which is good. These things are good, but they still want a man that's capable of that they feel is capable of that. And so that value, that security, is what a man's providing. Now, what is a woman providing in exchange for this? Again, in the same regards, there's still, the access to the hotness and the social status quo of that. But also, if you think about it, right, a woman is supposed to be sort of someone who's backing up the man, like the strength of the man, right? So if you're a man and you're going out there and you're conquering the fucking world and you don't have much much respite from the world, right? You don't get much peace, okay? You're going back home, and a woman in the relationship is bringing the other side of it, the softness, okay? The elements that a man doesn't have or doesn't bring, right? For a man to show weakness is not a good thing, right? But all men are weak to some degree, right? We have weaknesses, but to not show that weakness to the world, to stand strong, is tough, right? So to be able to be in a relationship with a softer side, to experience that kind of thing that you have to guard yourself against, is of a high value. It's renewing, right? It's renewing of the spirit, right? For you guys that are in long-term relationships, or have been in long-term relationships with your girlfriend, probably one of the things that you seek from her is that comfort, right? Is you're providing to some degree as a man presence and strength and masculinity. Hopefully that's going to make you attractive to her. But she's providing something else. It's the opposite. It's that softness, right? It's that comfort that's going to give you the energy and have you ever felt, as a guy, the ability to like just fucking conquer the world because you've got some woman behind you that cares about you, that loves you, that you feel appreciates you and respects you as a man, right? She's giving you fuel to go out there and fucking fight in the world, right? She's giving you that because you can't just keep on going out there and fighting, right? You need to come home, you need to go somewhere, you need to get renewed, and she's giving you that renewal. She's giving you that softness that you need in order to be able to collapse, to be able to relax, to be able to let down your guard a little bit, and to feel like you can go out there and fight again. So she's giving you that value of that, right? So there's and the other piece of it too is that there's a reason why men are attracted to women and to those attributes, and women are attracted to men and the manly attributes. And it's because as human beings, we need both of these things, right? To be just a totally manly man with no softness at all, right? And no beauty and no appreciation and none of these things that are defined as women, as a female trait, okay? To have none of that would be a life that is sort of just like desolate and bitter and doesn't have very much taste or flavor, right? To just be cold and calculating all the time and not have the spike of emotions that a woman brings into your life, to not have the softness that's there, to not have the sort of like spontaneity and that kind of just like raging passion that women tend to have and bring into your life, would make your life dull. And as a woman, I can't speak as a woman, but I can say probably, to not have the stability that a man provides, or the presence and that, that feeling of being protected, of being provided for, of being cared for, right? Of not having to make the decisions all the time, and to, be led, would not be great as well, right? So we have this kind of yin and yang. We have this need to have both of these sides of us in order to be complete human beings, right? And to some degree, a complete human being is both masculine and feminine, has the manly attributes and the womanly attributes, okay, at the same time, right? Otherwise, like I said, life would not be in balance, okay? But a man is primarily, or should primarily, have manly attributes, have masculine attributes, and a female should have primarily female attributes. But they're coming together. The reason why we come together as a species is so that we can, have what we're missing. We can find that in another instead of having to, necessarily have it in ourselves. So if you're a man, okay, and you have a good woman behind you, right, who is feminine, who has these other attributes that you're lacking, it allows you to be more of a man, right? Because you have to have these components in your life. You have to have both the yin and the yang in your life, right? But if you don't have to manufacture it yourself, okay, you're getting it from the female of the species, you can be more of the masculine, okay? And by the same token, you bring into a relationship the ability for your female compatriot to be more of the feminine, right? She can now express her feminine more because she doesn't have to worry about fighting the world and killing the wolves and bringing home. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, it doesn't mean that modern society doesn't have ways of dealing with this, but in general, right, biologically, we're still wired this way. So even though women can get jobs and can get guns and whatever, okay, even though that's possible and happens, okay, it doesn't mean that there's still not this deep need for it. It's more about the expression of it, right? So having both of those is really, really important. So that's my answer to this question. Okay. Now, some of you are gonna like lose your shit about some of the things I said in this. It's fine. It's cool. But just remember that like this is how we're biologically wired, right? Whether society likes it or not, whether we like the fucking fact of the matter or not, doesn't fucking change the biology. It doesn't change the way that we're wired and the way that attraction switches work in men and women. And it doesn't change the fact that we need both of these components and that it's much better to be polarized and relationships are stronger when one gets it from the other as opposed to having to self-manufacture and self-generate and both be independent. If we could both be independent, right, then we wouldn't have much in common. We wouldn't have much that would be drawing us to each other, okay, and that's when relationships tend to die. All right, that's all I have for you on this topic for today. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure you click that subscribe button, click the bell so you don't miss any videos. I'll talk to you next time. Take care.